For this design, as my background, I have used the Blush Sparkle Gel Glossy. This is the builder in a bottle with a little bit of sparkles. I finish it up with the Extreme Matte Top Gel. Of course, the background of your choice. You can use whatever you fancy. And for my design, I'm going to use the Power Gel White. This is the Poly Gel. You can also use for this one acrylic nails. We're going to use the same technique as we would use with the acrylic nails. Acrylics, so if you use the acrylics for the 3D flowers, that will be a similar product. You can also use the plastic gel, which will be similar product for this one, but I'm going to use the Power Gel White. It is handy for me to use it in a salon. And what I'm going to do, I'm just first going to move aside my shiny part, and I'm just going to pick up a small amount of the product, and I'm going to place it in my one of this corner. This will be my first petal. And to work with my Power Gel, I need to use a little bit of alcohol, so I'll just place a little bit of my Prep and Wipe inside my dappen dish. And I'm going to work with the Taylor number 3. This is the Kolinsky Hair Natural Hair nail art brush. It's not specific for the Power Gel, but because I want to create the small petal and these are natural hair, will work perfectly for my design. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start from flipping over my nail. And first, for the first petal, I'm going to press the product inside. This is what I will do with the acrylic as well. And I will gently press it to the side to create the petal. You need to be really, really gentle. If you press too much, your product will become transparent. And I'm going to lift gently the product. So if I want to now correct my shape or anything, I can do it now before curing. Because once I place in the light, I won't be able to do anything. I can use my brush as well to add a little bit of texture to my petal. And if you want to correct the shape, you can do it as well. Just place the side of your brush. And now one side I want to make a little bit flatter than the other, and you will see with my next petal why. So this one, I'm flatten this gently before curing. So one side is a little bit more raised and one a little bit more flat. And this one goes to the light for a few seconds just to pre-cure. And once this one is cured, I can pick up my another ball of product. So it will be similar ball of product with the Power Gel. I'm using my spatula. I just want to make sure everything is nice and clean in here. So I'm just clean my spatula and then picking up small ball of product. I would even say this one is too much, so I can pick up a little bit less. This is it. I can take it away if I see that is too much. I can take away. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to place the product in here for my second petal. Just place my spatula here, and again I'm repeating the drill. So I just place my brush into the alcohol, remove the excess, and now I'm creating another petal. And now my one petal goes over the previous one, so that's why I needed a little bit of flattened structure on this one. So here I'm just gently taking it down, and then I will just pull it just like that. And then this one side I can make it flatter as well. I don't need to do it on all of the flowers, on all of the petals. It's just maybe few, so they will just all stick together. And then I will also pull a little bit of product to the top, and I have this little hair. I was telling you before that the Power Gel is the gel, it is static, so it's whatever you have on your table, maybe in a dappen dish or on your brush, that will just stay there, but that's okay. We're going to cover it later. Perfect. Just a few seconds in the light. Now let's create another petal, and again I've picked up a little bit of product, placed it here. I need to add a little bit more alcohol into my dappen dish. Make sure my brush will be clean. And now what I'm doing, I'm creating the petal number 3 in exactly the same way. If you do it in acrylic way, you don't need to cure it because your product will dry automatically. Unfortunately, with the gel or the plastic gel, we don't have this advantage. We need to cure the products. And I have my petal number 3, and this one I'm going to leave opened, a little bit raised as well, just to make it a little bit different. And this one, quickly precure it in the light, few seconds. I'm just placing this in the light, and I'm going to pick up another ball of product. So everything is relatively simple on the beginning. It requires a little bit of time when we using the 3D technique, especially with the gel, because we need to precure it everything, and we need to be really gentle with the acrylic. If your experienced nail technician is a little bit quicker, unfortunately you need to be super fast and experienced, otherwise the product is drying too fast. So in this specific petal, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make both of the sides a little bit more flat. So this petal will be under this one. So you see, I'm just placing it under, just like that. And then the other side will also be flat when I'm going to create my next one. And I'll just pull a little bit of the product here, just to create a little bit of shape. So we'll look a little bit more like the rest of them. Here we go. Flattening here, you can play around, but try to use small brush. The power gel is relatively soft product. Some polygels are a little bit too hard, but if you use a little bit more pressure with your brush, you can then create the petals. And of course you can use any other tool. There are some tools, I've actually found it because I really tried to find it, this tool. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's like a silicone tool. You can use it as well to create these petals if you have anything like that. I think it's just for me because I do everything with brushes. It's just easy with the brush. But of course, it's really up to you. You can use the tool or the orange wood stick or anything you fancy. And this one, dog. Okay, I'm happy with this one. I'll just quickly precure it, and then I will pick up my last ball of product to create my petals. So just clean my spatula just to make it a little bit better. So you see, I only cure it 10 seconds, and then this will be my last one. Because also I'm doing them one by one, I have a little bit more control about the shape, have a little bit more control about the size. I can go over and outside my nail if I want to, just like that. So then in this case, because I'm not letting my gel to come off, I'm fully controlling the situation. Then you can create a little bit bigger flower as well with the full control if you do it one by one. In the other video we have all 5 at the same time, a little bit more simplified version of this flower. So now this one will go to the light. My next step is going to be add a little bit of dimension and shading to my flower. If you use the acrylics and you're already advanced, as we were speaking about, you can use two colors technique right away and create two-toned petals as well. But if you don't, if you're not even working with acrylic and you just want to create these beautiful gel flowers, you can just use the one product and create your shading with the gel polish. This is a beautiful pink color, Pride Pink. And another one, Pink Tulip. And what I'm going to do next, I'm going to start with my outside side of the petals, and I'm going to pick up tiny bit of the product, just a tiny bit with the tip of my brush, and I'm going to go over outside line, and I'm just tapping it flat just to add a little extra color, just like that. And I'm going to do exactly the same with the rest of my petals. I'm really in the outer side of my petals, so you can even see that I'm painting outside. So I'm not painting anything in, it's just to add a little extra to my flower. And if you use the acrylic technique, as I mentioned, and you already know your stuff with the acrylic, you can do these two-tone designs with the acrylic. But I know a lot of us now just using gels in a salon for various reasons. The gels are really popular. The gel polish BIABs are one of the most popular design in for years now. I've lost a little hair in here. So a lot of nail technicians nowadays never done the acrylic nails. So that's why I'm doing everything here with the gel polish and the gel. So here we have outer line as well. Beautiful. And then we'll add one more just in here. When you're working with the clients and you need to change the position of the client's finger, it's not a problem to change the client's hand position when you're working, just to make it as nice as possible. And you see we added a little bit of shading in here on outer layer. You can add any color you wish, and we're going to do similar from the middle, but in the middle I'm going to use the darker shade. Okay, this will be our Pink Tulip, a little bit darker color. And I'm going to clean my brush just over the wipe. Make sure it's dry and I don't have too much of the product. And what I'm doing with my brush, I'm going to tap it just to pull a little bit of this product towards the middle. But it's just a small amount. Just tap, 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 tap. And I can also follow the outer layer here of my petal. Just in the middle. So we add in a little bit of dimension to our flower. Make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more advanced. Of course, all of this is not necessary. If you like just a white flower, or maybe you just want to have the one color, is absolutely fine. It's up to you. I'm liking the extra details. I think it's make it a little bit different. And I think clients are liking this as well. Just adding a little bit more product. And we have it here. A little bit darker just under our petal, just to add even more dimension. So we now not adding any more product. We already have our raised structure. As you can see, we just adding a little extra with our gel polish. You can also pick up your detailer brush. This is my blush brush, detailer brush, and add a little line work if you fancy, here and there. Really much interesting. And now I'm going to cure it for 10 to 20 seconds in my LED light, in my twin light. Once my product is curing, I'm going to put a little bit of the black gel polish, just tiny amount, as you can see, and I'm going to add a little extra dots to my flower. This will be just from the middle in a darker side on the petals. So small amount of product, tiny bit. So I'm using my detailer number brush, and this won't be like a specific dots, more like a lines, and they need to be uneven. So you will see that they know all exactly the same, just to make our petals a little bit more spotted and a little bit more interesting. But please be careful, do not add too much of this, because that may take over the whole structure that you've created. So it needs to be just a few, just like on a lily flower, if you would think. They have these little spots, little dots, but it's not too much. It's never a full lily flower that has these little dots. So I'm focusing on my darker pink lines, and this is when I'm really adding my dots, just a little extra. I'm happy with my dots. I'm happy with my dots and my structure, and now it's time for a little bit of extra gel, and I'm going to use the top gel from the jar again, but this time I'm going to use the smaller brush because I want my lines to be a little bit smaller and a little bit more defined. So I have my light on, and I'm going to quickly precure it, each line after I finish. So just to make it a little bit more precise, and I'll quickly precure it, just a few seconds, and then I'm going to create another one. So similar like in a previous design, I'm going to add first more of the lines outside my petals on this like raised structure. I'm making this even higher, even more defined. But these are a little bit more, a little bit thinner, a little bit smaller. So I will add a few more inside my petals and not stick to just the one. I'll just make it a little bit more interesting. Again, just a few seconds. And I'm focusing first of creating my outlines first. And then here will be another one. And then I will add a little bit more later. So here, this petal had two pieces on top. So just few seconds to precure it. And then I have one more in here. Perfect. This one to the light, few seconds again, and I'm going to add more lines inside the middle. You can use any other top gel if you like. Just control your movements and make sure you're quite fast when you're creating your lines and curing. And you see now I'm adding another line. I want to make sure it's starting up a little bit higher. Perfect. Here, structure-wise, let's make it a little bit higher. So I'm letting my gel come off my brush. And now to the light, few seconds. So it's like back and forward. This part is a little bit more time consuming, but well, at the same time, clients are paying us extra for that type of designs. So then it's okay. It's okay to do it. And I think if they come in with design like that, we are already having extra time marked in our calendar for the clients. For the design like this one, I would easily ask for the at least £5 per flower, and that's without any extra details. So that will just depend if we need to get extra stones, maybe depending on type of stones, how many of these flowers. Of course, if our client was just 2 flowers, then maybe I'll just charge a little extra 10, and then maybe if more, I would charge more, because it's here the time, it is really time consumption in this one. So although it's super fun always, some of the designs are taking us a little bit longer than others. So for our clients, they need to pay. And you need to remember that you need to practice as well. So you need to know what you're doing, because if you're doing something first time, of course, take you more time. So if you're not 100% sure with your products and your skills, then of course will take you a little bit longer, but this is not your client's fault. So you need to practice really. But with the new designs like this one, if you're not sure, let's add here 1 line, 1, 2, perfect. If you're not sure, you can always tell your clients, let me practice, let me try it, and then for next time I'll be ready for you. Although with this type of designs and the trendy design, you maybe just the once occasion. So for example, last month was everything about the starfish and little cherries and stuff, and this month is already too late. People are moving for the 3D flowers, which are a little bit more into the autumn. The starfish was more into the summer. So we need to follow the trend, and we need to really quickly practice stuff. The 3D flowers will be with us up to the winter. I guarantee that we're going to do this for our Christmas plants as well. So it's worth learning, and make sure you know your stuff, you pick up right products, and you'll be able to do it as quickly as possible in your salon for the clients. Now I'm curing my top gel 2.5 minutes, and the last thing that is left is our middle part. For my middle part, I'm going to use these gorgeous opals. I can hardly ever really use them because these are really made for the inlays and stuff, and nowadays everyone wants a little bit shorter nails. So whenever I have the occasion, I'm trying to use them because they are just gorgeous. So I'm picking up a little bit of the gel, and I will just place it inside. Just clean it a little bit, and I'm going to pick up my opals and just place it inside. The opals is a little bit texture, because I'm not going to cover this with any inlays or anything like that. I can really choose the bigger parts of my opals and just place them in, and this will be super sparkly. It's like a true jewelry. These opals, the specific one that I have in here, and we have in Magnetic Nail Design, are semi-precious. So these are the same one that are used in the jewelry that you buy in these gorgeous earrings and gorgeous rings with the beautiful stones. These are really similar, but to be honest, even just a regular synthetic one, if you have some, will be perfect. Now you can also add a little bit more dimension to your petals if you want to. So if you want to add a little extra line, make it a little bit higher here and there, you can also add a little extra. And this is what I'm doing now, just to make it a little bit more interesting. So you see, I'm just following the previous lines, the middle one, just to make them a little bit more higher. And this one goes to the light for the final 2.5 minutes. So here our nail is cured, our flower is cured, and now we just need to remove the sticky layer with the prep and wipe, with your cleanser. just to make sure everything is perfect. So now I'm not going to add any extra details because these were done under our gel. So this our little structure gel, polygel and gel polish hybrid flower that is definitely a must-have this season.